Hello, Evan. Welcome to Hangar Talk.
Hey, Brayden. Nice to
Nice
see you.
to see you too.
And
How's it
who
going?
else is on?
This
Hi,
is
I'm Colin. You probably recognize me. I was the quirky egghead you ran into at the Pensacola airport.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Perfect. There we go.
You probably didn't recognize the voice, so
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, it's good
s-
to talk to you again.
yeah.
awesome. So everybody, this is Evan J. Scott of Aerospace Horizons. We're going to be doing an interview with him today, everybody. So Evan, let's begin with you and about your background. How did you get into aviation?
Well, to be clear, I'm not a pilot. But I mean, I kind of have a story, I guess, like most people who are into aviation, where I went to an air show when I was a kid, and I'd like to say I remember it, but I don't. I actually have pictures. I think there are some back behind me here.
Somewhere.
Yeah, of me going to an air show at age like 3 or 4 or something like that. And yeah, I guess I was just hooked after that, and I uh, went to many, many air shows as a kid with my dad. It was kind of like a thing that we did not every weekend, but a lot of weekends. We would sort of travel up and down. I used to live in Pennsylvania. We'd travel up and down the East Coast and go to as many as we could. And yeah, just followed him around. Had a particular love for the Blue Angels. The Thunderbirds, yeah, yeah, loved them too, but was definitely more of a Blue Angels guy at that point.
Thank you.
Attaboy.
Thank you.
I mean, okay, in fairness, when I was growing up, the Blue Angels were clearly better than the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Now
I clearly agree.
now it is a lot closer. They are much much closer together than they were in the '90s when I was growing up. So
They look a little more closer than usual, but I don't think they're as close as the Blues, though. Just saying.
yeah, well,
Yeah, I would
hey,
take that bet.
I
They
got to remain relatively unbiased here, even though
they
I know.
quote to be 18 inches, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a
Well, the
little
thing about them
debatable.
is the F-16 is a smaller jet, so they look like they're further apart than when you're talking about 18 inches because it's a smaller jet. They look further apart. It's much easier to make big airplanes look closer together. So,
Yeah.
just saying.
So, 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 Evan, let's give a little bit of background about your channel and what you do to inspire the next generation, like myself and Colin and a few other young aviation people watching this channel. So, let's give a little talk about Aerospace Horizons
Yeah,
first.
what is the Aerospace Horizons project?
Well, I'm glad you find it inspiring. First of all, and once again, thank you for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure.
I yeah, so. I want to share what these aviators are doing with people in a way that they can understand. And I feel like I was inspired watching, for example, the Around the World at the Speed of Sound documentary. I
Oh,
don't know
Love
if
that
you're
documentary.
familiar with it. Yeah, okay. So that was like when I was a kid, that was like relatively new, and I watched that thing so much that it's a joke in my household that I broke the VHS tape. I don't even know if do you guys even know what a VHS tape is?
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, all right. So
I have thousands of them.
okay,
Just
okay,
saying.
okay, all right. So yeah, I broke the VHS tape. I watched that thing so much, and that really inspired me to um, just be. It made me inspired as a kid watching it, and not to say that I'm like trying to do exactly that because I now have had the great privilege of meeting the director of that film.
You met
Um,
Rob Stone?
I did, yeah. I actually have an interview with him on my channel, so if you're watching this and you're curious, you can go check that out. But what he did with that was amazing. And like I'm not saying I'm on the same level as that at all, but that kind of thing where it's inspiring and just sharing because the thing about these teams is they make it look easy, and that's like kind of the job, right? Is to make it look seamless, make it look perfect every single time. But there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours that go into making that demonstration perfect. So I actually, I have an interest in filmmaking as well as sort of like uh, like this project actually lets me combine those two things, like video filmmaking stuff and aviation stuff, which is really fun. Um, but it's kind of similar with filmmaking. And I, growing up, I also loved like DVD special features for movies and stuff like that. And that's what inspired me to get into movies too, was, you know, seeing the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. And someone actually left a comment on one of my interviews that I did, that it felt like a behind the scenes featurette for a really good movie, you know, talking to these guys, talking to these aviators. And I really took that to heart as like, oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I'd like to do, is shine a light on how much work actually goes into this, and it's not as easy as it looks, and just, you know, really just put a spotlight on them.
Oh, 100%. And it does, there are, as a quote in the Blue Angels documentary this year, no second chances.
No second chances.
Exactly.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
And another thing is that in the YouTube careers and people that start channels, did you have any like roadblocks that you hit with like kind of doubting yourself on, is this really possible to do it with YouTube, where minds are different nowadays that there were back in the like 80s, 90s where everything was popular with Top Gun and stuff like that?
Roadblocks in what sense? Like, you mean like it was like roadblocks in terms of people getting people interested in aviation, or in
Yeah,
terms of,
kind of that feature.
okay, yeah, I mean, I think we're so I sort of had a when I was a kid, I was really into this stuff. And then I, like I said, I got into filmmaking, and kind of that became my career path. And that's where I went down, and got a career in the entertainment industry. And not to say I totally lost touch with the aviation side of things, but it definitely sort of went on the back burner. And recently it was kind of rekindled for me, in part by the Top Gun Maverick movie that came out a few years ago. That was, I mean, the original Top Gun movie was another one of those that I broke the VHS tape of. So I was really excited for the new one to come out, and it reminded me, through this other thing that I love, which is movies, it reminded me of that passion that I had before. And I feel like there's an opportunity with visual mediums like film or YouTube or whatever to show the other side of the aviation stuff, and make it. I mean, it's already exciting, right? Like, you go to an air show, you go, even just like being on an airplane is exciting. But it can really like enhance it, I think, to go more in depth with it in a video format.
Awesome. And then, I actually have another question. If Colin, if you don't mind asking this, go ahead and do it.
What did you want me to ask him?
What is your favorite project that you've
Oh,
done?
oh,
Oh, favorite project. You mean in terms of Aerospace
yeah,
Horizon stuff? Because
yeah.
I've
Like,
got.
what was your favorite project? Your favorite interview,
Hmm,
kind of thing.
oh man. Well, I don't want to pick favorites here. Well, I will say the talking to Boss Woldridge was special. That was sort of my first big interview that I did, and he's just, I mean, he was in Around the World at the Speed of Sound, so like, talk about meeting your heroes, right? Like, I called him. I basically, I found out that they were doing the movie, um, the Amazon movie, and then I found out that he was involved. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then I found out that Rob Stover's involved. And I was like, huh, that's extra interesting.
He was
Because,
like the producers or something?
yeah,
Greg Woldridge?
Rob was an executive producer, yeah.
Oh,
And Greg Wooldridge was also an executive producer.
oh, that's
And
sick.
yeah, so I saw that, and then I, you know, did a little research and saw some interviews with him, and saw he had done some interviews with like smaller YouTube channels. And I was like, hey, you know, why not just give it a shot and ask him? So I actually reached out to him on LinkedIn, of all places, just cold. I sent him a picture of me and Boss Dom, who was in '97, the '97 and '98 teams.
Was that the
'Cause
little photo of you?
yeah,
Oh,
I sent him. I didn't have a picture of me with Boss Woldridge, because he was. It was just before I was like old enough to be into this stuff. but I was like, close enough, whatever. I sent the picture and I sent, hey, sir, I kind of idolized you as a kid. Would you be, interested in coming on my YouTube channel and talking about the new film coming out? And to my surprise, he said yes. And then I called him up and, was talking to him, and I was like, had this surreal experience of, hearing his voice and being like, "You're talking to me." That's wild. This guy that I had.
Oh my God, I feel the same way. I swear.
Yeah.
He's one
So
of my all-time favorite Blue Angels, to be honest with you.
yeah, no, he's incredible, and yeah. Then we did the interview, and it was just like I've watched it back, but like my memory of actually doing it, I just kind of don't remember because it was just kind of such an out of body experience. Now I've done enough of them that it's you know a little more. I'm a little more chill about it, but that one I still feel like was a very special one.
Awesome. Wow. Very interesting to know about, and that must have been a really good experience for you and your viewers.
Hmm.
I hope so.
And another question for you is, do you remember attending your first air show? If so, what was that like?
I don't remember attending my first air show. Like I said, I have some photos of me as like a 3-year-old, and I don't, directly remember it. They kind of all blur together because I went to so many as a kid. I do have memories of going to, like I said, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I used to go to this air show in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. They had
Oh,
it every
Willow
year,
Grove. Yeah.
and yeah, they don't do it anymore. It's very sad, but yeah,
Oh,
when I was growing up, it was every year they did it, and I always remember that one. Um, yeah, they're all great. They're all neat.
oh yeah, definitely fantastic. And then, do you have a bucket list show on your that you really want to attend?
Well, I kind of did it this year. I went to the homecoming show this year. That was I had never been to a homecoming show, and this one was extra special because the Thunderbirds were there,
Yeah.
That
and
was
also just the team, like that specific team was the team that was flying when I started my YouTube channel. So it was like kind of sad to see him go, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that, and that must have been
yeah.
really special too.
Yeah. I also want to go to. I know they have one in Australia now. I just want to go to Australia and New
Oh,
Zealand. I've always wanted
the
to go. So,
Avalon
uh,
show.
oh, I was thinking of the Pacific. They have a
Yes,
Pacific Air
Pacific
Show
Air
in
Oh,
Show
the
Gold
Huntington,
Gold
Coast.
Coast. The
the
Gold
Gold
Coast
Coast.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Talking about
bucket list
Avalon.
item of mine too.
yep.
S- Ooh, another question is, do you have a favorite maneuver that the Blue Angels or Thunderbirds like to do?
Favorite maneuver.
You can go
Hmm.
Diamond Solo if you'd like.
Well, I guess Delta is probably going to be the fleur de lis.
Same here.
Yeah, that one's just got like a bit of everything in it. Uh, I always love the sneak pass, right? It's like you love the sneak pass. Everyone loves the sneak pass.
Me too.
And what else? I think the uh the the vertical break also. It's very cool.
Sweet. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna say for solos, I'm gonna say OMRT, Delta, Fleur de Lis, and for Diamond, I'm gonna say Burner 270.
Sweet. That's amazing. Yeah.
What
For
about you, Braden?
for me, the solos, obviously the sneak pass. You can't beat that.
Oh yeah.
Diamond, we gotta go with the diamond roll. That's pretty
Hmm.
cool. And then the Delta, we got to go Fleur de Lis. The music that is being used and the amount of like precision it takes to perform it is just so staggering and amazing. Like
Oh yeah.
it really hits to like what we're gonna do. And speaking of music, actually, if you don't mind me talking about this,
Uh,
What, what about it?
I actually
Silent.
submitted. So Colin and I both submitted our music playlist requests to Lunchbox.
Okay.
Yeah. We both made like custom playlists that we basically came like from like deep thoughts. Like we just put it all together and we just comprised it, sent them out, and Braden got a reply, but I didn't. So that was pretty lame.
I'm sorry again, Colin.
I'm just sitting there like, oh God, how did I describe it? I'm basically just sitting there like watching paint dry, waiting for a reply. And just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting.
Yeah, and it was actually like when Mai got it, I got like a couple hours or maybe even a few minutes after I sent it. So I was like, no kidding, because I saw that somebody was on it, but it said anonymous. I was like, who could be on it? So, and then voila, Lunchbox emailed me back. So really grateful for that.
Yeah. And it's been a month and still no reply for me.
You'll get there, Colin. Don't worry,
I'll
buddy.
get there.
So
Hopefully.
another question for you is, what has been your thoughts on the music playlists that the Blues have used over the past couple of years?
So this will date me, but I remember back in my day, they didn't used to play music during the
That was
demonstration.
only a Thunderbirds thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, they I actually talked to who was it? Someone it was one of the Fat Albert guys that I talked to, who mentioned that he was he was in the first year that they did music. I think it was 2004 or something like that.
They started it, I think it was 2003 or 2004, one of them.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, the music is fine. I just like, I don't know. I have the nostalgia for just the jet sounds, and also like personally, as someone who films these things, it really is challenging to get to film them and then have to deal with the YouTube copyright
Oh, oh
system.
yeah, always a
Basically,
pain.
what I do is I just upload it and I just try and look to see if it's blocked in the US mainly. If it's
Yeah,
blocked globally or in the US, then I'll mute the song. But if it's blocked somewhere like Russia, I'd be like, okay, I'll just leave it be.
yeah. I think it does affect monetization status stuff though.
I'm not gonna monetize my channel
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
I'm not
But
Yeah,
gonna monetize
basically.
mine.
I managed to get I've done a few where, so in Miramar last year I managed to convince one of the Marines there to let me put my recorder out beyond the crowd line or out beyond the speakers. I have like a portable audio recorder and I just like they let me just leave it out there. So I now have mostly clean jet sounds of an entire demo that I
Yeah,
can use. Worst case scenario, break glass, and in case of emergency, I could just put that on top and we're good to go.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, gotcha. I think I
So
noticed that when I was watching your Miramar
Yeah.
video.
So for me this year, when I saw the Blues at Cleveland, when I went to the Cleveland show, I didn't actually go inside the airport. I actually went to a hotel that was actually southwest of Show Center. And basically, I just sat there, and that's basically where all the repos were happening. Like when they were cutting off of the Diamond 360, they just came right over you at like treetop level. It was like, whoa, it was awesome.
Have either of you been to El Centro?
Yes, I have.
He
Okay.
has. He goes every
Yeah.
year.
It's
I'm all the way in New York, so it's pretty hard.
Yeah, no, the end of the runway spot at El Centro is, I mean, it's you can't beat it.
That's
Yeah,
uh,
Yeah.
that's something that I'm hopefully gonna do. It's on my bucket list.
same here, and I'm hoping to this year. So, actually, speaking of music, a personal favorite song that that the Blue Angels have used.
That they've used. Let's see. Um, I mean, it's got to be Freebird, right? With the fleur de lis. That's
Oh,
that. I mean, that's like the most stereotypical, but it's perfect. So.
yeah. I don't want to sound basic, but for me, probably when they used all these things that I've done for the landings in 2021.
Oh, right. Yeah. Was that pre like before it was used in the movie? Yeah, I guess it would
Yeah,
Yes.
have had to have
it
been.
was used in 2020, and then obviously 2020 canceled everything, so they used it again in 2021, and then 2022 they used it, and then 2023 they decided to change it for some reason.
Yeah,
Crappy
which I
Yeah.
didn't like.
techno song, I hated it. What was it, like Red
Yeah.
City or something? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it's something like that. Ooh, my personal favorite. Oh man, I gotta go with "Run" by One Republic for the loot break cross.
Okay, I'll
So,
approve
so
of that.
okay. So, Evan, another question for you actually about the Thunderbirds. I was watching your little short that you made, or well, both short and video about the Creech Air Force Base diamond crash, and that really I really wanted to learn more about that, and I watched your video and took a little bit of inspiration to do research more on Wikipedia, and I actually feel like that it wasn't pilot error, it was a jam stabilizer. And what happened as a result of that crash? And did the Thunderbirds transition from that, or did they wait and see what the preliminary cause was and then transfer to the Viper?
So I haven't done like extensive research on this, full disclaimer, but from what I understand, you're correct. It was a jam stabilizer. I think that the it was like it was the jam stabilizer, and then also the pilot error of, he should have communicated that his stabilizer was jammed or something was wrong, right? Um, and that's what unfortunately led to, for those who aren't aware, all four Diamond pilots basically hit the ground at the same time because they were all following the leader.
It was literally because of Boss's aircraft, though. It was the jam stabilizer, and they were like trying to follow Boss, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's how dedicated they are, and that's how much trust you have to have in each other, right? That they're not looking where they're going, they're looking at the boss, and the boss is directing them, and if there's an issue, they will literally follow the boss into the ground in that case. And they learned from that, obviously, and I think it was a big part of why they went to the Viper, because I think the next season was when they got into the Viper, um, which was kind of weird at the time because it was a brand new, not brand new, but like relatively new
Newer.
aircraft, newer than other aircraft they had flown. And the same thing with the Blues. Actually, they went to the Hornet relatively early in its lifespan.
Yeah, surprising because like as I was like personally thinking, because as you obviously you made the video of why they're not using fifth gen fighters, and everybody was like telling me like, oh, the Thunderbirds are going to transition to the F-35 within the next like 2-3 years. I'm like, I doubt it. I doubt it. And if you like really think about that, maybe they'll like transition to like some like maybe let's say like F-15E possibly, but like no, I doubt they would like transition to the new fifth gen fighter. But obviously, as you probably know, the Blues like in 2018 when they were trying to get like the new replacement for the Legacy, from what I was hearing, from what I did my research, it was supposed to be the F-35, the Charlie, but they couldn't because of like cost, so they decided Super Hornet instead. From what I heard, is that basically from what you think theoretically correct, or
I think there was from what I was from the research I've done on it. My understanding was the plan was always to do the Super Hornet, just because it's, they can't spare the F-35C, like they can't spare any of the F-35s. Maybe in 10 years they'll be able to, but there's also all sorts of other potential issues with that.
plus there's no
Um,
two-seat variant as well.
no two-seat variant, yeah. Although there is talk of doing one apparently, which I didn't know when I made that video, but someone pointed out to me that is has been discussed. But yeah, I think that they're good with the Rhino for a long time because it's, they have no plans to stop flying it anytime soon. Same thing with the F-16. Um, so there's really no reason to do it, right? I mean, it would just cost more, and in an environment where, you know people might be looking to cut costs, something that costs more is not really what you would want. So sticking with the tried and true is probably what they're going to do for a while. I think they'll probably be in the Super Hornet for another. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Super Hornet for another 15-20 years.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I bet you they'll at least make their 100th anniversary with the
Yeah,
Rhino, at
yeah. I mean,
least.
that was the intention. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
So
also, oh,
go
you
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Colin. Also, too, the Lightning has had problems extensively, especially the Bs and a little bit of the Cs, if I'm
Yeah,
not
well, there was just that
mistaken.
crash like last week, right? There was
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
blades
with
went
the
down in
A out of
Alaska.
yeah.
Yeah,
Another reason too, you can't endanger the pilots because of safety features in that Lightning. So having aircraft that are constantly having the ground and hitting accidents is not safe for these pilots, if I'm correct or
yeah.
not.
And also you got the issue of the helmet, which actually kind of became a lot of people were kind of confused about this in the comments of the video that I did. Um, so there's the helmet, right? The F-35 has the helmet that is very
The
expensive. Um,
$500,000 helmet.
I believe it's $400,000, and someone told me that that has come down, but still, it's a very expensive helmet. But the the point is, like, yes, F-35 pilots would take their helmets with them, right, if they were coming from an active deployment. But the problem is, being on the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, you're not necessarily guaranteed to be getting pilots that are proficient in the aircraft that they're flying, which probably surprises a lot of people. But like, for example, all the Marine Corps all the Marine Corps aviators on the Blue Angels, the Marine Corps doesn't fly the Rhino. So like, they have to get qualified in the Rhino. Being proficient in that particular
Like,
aircraft is
take, for
not,
example, the new crew members this year, Goldie and Wobbly. They
yeah,
probably had to get
yep,
qualified in the Rhino.
yeah. I mean, the Marine Corps doesn't fly it, so I don't know what if I were to guess, they probably were flying F-35s before this, so they had to qualify in a new aircraft. So it's not a given that everybody coming to the team would be an F-35 pilot and would already have a helmet. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Goldie was on an F-35 squadron, and I think Wobbly was in a Legacy squadron, if I'm correct.
okay, yeah.
yeah,
Well, the
and
legacy to Rhino is a little bit easier, but still, regardless.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
true.
exactly.
And that I'll ask Goldie and Wobbly about that if I see them at El Centro this year.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, another thing too, Evan, is that your interview I saw with who else was it? I want to say it was did you ever get Stalin on?
No,
Okay.
not yet. We'll
Uh,
see.
Not yet. Okay, yeah. I tried her
Future
too,
Yeah.
but unfortunately,
project.
future project. Yeah, yeah. So, basically, are you gonna go to any air shows this year? You got something planned out?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be at El Centro next month, and then I'll probably be at what's it, Sacramento
California
is the week after that.
capital?
Yeah, and then beyond that, I got to figure. It's a busy year ahead for me personally, so I haven't really nailed down everything, but odds are good. I'll probably be at the ones I've been at in the past few years, Miramar, all the West Coast ones, and we'll see about the homecoming show. I really enjoyed going to it last year. It
I
was,
liked Homecoming this year.
yeah,
I had pretty fun at it. I went both days. It was pretty good.
it was packed.
And
It was
it
packed.
was. I
Yeah,
didn't even end up getting in till noon on Friday,
yeah,
but I got in like at 10 on Saturday.
yeah. No, it was kind of a zoo, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with the locals there too. Like, I swear, they were like all standing up and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I walk in front of them to try and get my shot, and then next thing you know, they're all complaining while I'm in the back and I can't see anything. Like, literally,
man,
the locals are very hardcore when it comes to their team.
I
Oh yeah. Did you
I,
have
I don't
any
blame them.
do you have any problems with that or no with the locals at Pensacola?
Oh, no problems at all. Everybody was incredible. That's the thing that I keep coming back to about getting into this community is everybody's amazing. Like everybody, like without fail, every single person I met is just amazing. And you can't say that about most communities. And they say like there's the old adage like don't meet your heroes, and like I've met a lot of people that I like. Boss Woldridge I would have considered a hero and still do, and he was like the best. So yeah, this community defies that adage for
Oh
sure.
yeah. 100%, and especially with the the nice people in the community and not like rude people. We did have some problems with that at Miramar this year with a couple photographers, and it really does make me angry when people act and behave unprofessionally.
Yeah, especially in this community, like there's such a high standard.
Yeah, people thinking they're entitled and things like that, and it doesn't really make me it makes me really like upset to go. And I made a tips video, and I actually pinned a comment what the
That
one
you
tip
forgot to
no,
mention in the video.
yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Come on.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, seriously.
Brayden.
Yep,
Come
come on, come
on.
on. Act
You
and
should have
behave
mentioned
professionally.
it.
Yeah, I should have, but I tried to keep it positive and just get straight to the point. And
Like,
actually, did we run into each other at Miramar?
I'm not sure. Did we? I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, me neither. It's been a while since I don't know. Maybe I did and I forgot. So I ran into a lot of people at Miramar. So,
Yeah, there's certainly a lot. It's a big. That's a great air show,
oh
by the way.
yeah, 100%.
that's a bucket list air show for me as well.
No, it's a
I go to
great.
a lot of good air shows, but Miramar, bucket list, definitely. I recommend both of y'all to go to Dayton because
Oh yeah.
it's a big show. It's good every year. It's basically just like a Miramar, basically,
Yeah,
but less military, a little more civilian kind of thing.
got
It's
it.
always a huge lineup. There's always some good statics there every year. And with it being the birthplace of aviation, they have usually a whole like dedication ceremony for like the Wright brothers, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
usually they'll bring a replica in and they'll fly the replica in the show. They usually do that every year. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, definitely 10 out of 10 recommend coming to Dayton for
Will
sure.
do in the future. Yeah.
It's not an air show per se, but I definitely want to go to Oshkosh at some point.
Oh yeah, same here.
Maybe not this year. Maybe
Yeah,
next year.
yeah.
This year's
M-
lineup is
Not
kind of
great.
bleh.
Kind of
Okay.
Kind of
mid.
bleh. Like the only thing that's like attractive at Oshkosh this year is all three Goodyear blimps, and that's it.
Yeah. And yeah. So Evan, are you considering writing any books? Because I see a little bit of books back there.
uh, I had not considered that, but maybe now you've inspired me.
Come
No, no, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Video's more my thing.
on, Evan.
I'd rather put that time into video. Yeah.
I
Okay.
can respect that. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then I actually have another question, if you don't mind me asking. Uh, what is the best aviation advice you've ever received?
Best aviation advice. Talk to everyone because it's a very small community, and you should you know if you just talk to everyone, you'll eventually end up knowing someone who knows someone who knows someone. If you want to get in touch with them or whatever you want to do, but it's a very tight knit small community, so the more people you talk to, the better.
Awesome. And then what advice could you give to aspiring aviators like myself, Colin, and a few people watching here?
Well, like I said, I'm not a pilot, so
Got it.
um,
Are you
although
gonna
you
get your
know
license in the future?
I haven't ruled it out. I did do a training, like a intro
Yeah.
flight last year. The problem is I've got two little kids, a job, and also a side job with this. So finding the time is hard, but I do want to do it at some point. I want to get into it. But advice in terms of advice, really, I mean, I would look to interviews with. You can look at some of the interviews on my channel and listen to some of the advice of the great aviators there, because I think they're probably going to have a little more practical advice than me.
Hmm.
Got it. Thank you. Very interesting too. And Colin, do you have any thing to say or any
Yes.
questions?
So, as you just mentioned earlier, you just have two young children. Are they into aviation at all? Are you trying to get them into aviation or?
So one of the great things about having kids is you get to share all the things that you love with them, and whether or not they love them too is kind of a, it's up in the air. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But my son for sure is obsessed with planes. He's we took him to an air show last year, and he just spent the entire time pointing at the sky and shouting, "Plane, plane, plane."
Plane. That's
So
hilarious.
he's a little young still, so I'm excited for him to grow into it. My daughter, we took her to, she's older. I took her 2 years ago to Point Magoo, which was actually the first air show that I filmed and sort of led all
Oh,
this
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. I think I watched that
Nice.
video.
Yeah, it was kind of a fluke, actually. I wanted to go. That air show is very close to me. It was like only like half an hour away, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring my daughter because she was old enough. My son was still too little, and my dad actually flew out from the East Coast, just like old times, to go, and we did. We had the three generations, and that was really cool. But me being me, I just filmed it because I couldn't help myself, and I just filmed it on my phone and edited it
And then you
together.
made it 10 times better.
And I edited it together just on a whim, really, and uploaded it like to my YouTube channel before it was even called Aerospace Horizons, and it randomly got 130,000 views like
Wow.
overnight one night, and I was like, "What the? This is so unexpected." I didn't even know it had happened. Like I was so like I just uploaded it and walked away and came
That?
back like a month later and saw it, and that's what sort of inspired the whole thing. I was like, "Hey, if this happened accidentally, what happens if I try?"
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, kind of similar story for me too. Like I was believe it or not, I took the drive a little bit up north to go watch the Italian jet team, the Frecce Tricolori, fly over Niagara Falls
Yep.
as a part of their tour.
Yep.
So, I took a video, I just filmed all their passes, I put it together, I uploaded it, and then like it just started doing obviously poor with the views. I got like within like a couple hours I had like only 2 views. I go to bed, I wake up the next morning, I have like over like 60,000 views on. I'm like, holy.
Yeah.
And like, I
That's how it
never
happens.
thought like just a simple video of just the Italian team flying over the falls and just them doing orbits would just get that much views. Like, I was just, wow. Oh,
You never
so
know,
impressed.
man. That's the thing I've like really come to realize about this whole thing, this whole YouTube thing, is you never know. A lot of the videos that I've done that have done the best are ones that I did not expect to do well, really. um, it just something catches in the algorithm and it just goes and goes and goes, and it still has to be good, right? I mean, that is the other thing I've learned is like it has to be good. Otherwise, people won't. That won't happen, right? So
Yeah.
something about that video that you uploaded, even though you think it was just boring or whatever, like it was good and people watched it, and that's why it did well.
Awesome. That's very good advice, and glad you said that too, because I kind of had that same thing too with my channel.
The same thing happened to you with the. Did you get something that blew up randomly?
Yeah, actually, it was I checked this Hot Wings video. I don't know if you can see a few in the background.
Oh, okay.
I
You got
Yeah,
I
no, I
got
see it.
I
Yeah.
three above his head.
I uploaded a collection, and it randomly blew up and got like hundreds something thousands of views, I
Damn.
want to say.
Oh, all right.
And then this Bearcat, FAF Bearcat video from Planes of Fame got like 5,000 views and getting up to 8,000. And then actually, believe it or not, a Rob Ryder interview that I did for a podcast.
I love Rob.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
Colin is a huge fan of him.
I met him in Dayton in 22. He was like one of the best people I've ever met.
It's
I
sad he's
swear.
retired now.
I
Yeah,
know. Once
really.
once I found out he retired, I cried,
Well, you
literally.
Yeah.
I'm
were
not
there
even
at his
kidding
last
you.
show, right? I
I
mean,
was
he was at.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding you. Just even though I'm literally a super fan, right after he said so long everybody, I literally cried. I'm not even
Yeah.
kidding you.
No.
I cried.
Yeah. It
I
was. It
was
was sad.
like,
Yeah.
we lost a legend. It's Now we have
Yep.
to deal with Rick Peterson.
Yeah. He'll tell you the behind the scenes joke about that.
Oh yeah. You want me to go ahead and tell you now? Okay. So basically, he announces at one of my local air shows because obviously I'm from Buffalo. So we have four major air shows in the area. We have Niagara Falls, Batavia, Rochester, and Geneseo. So this was at Rochester in 2023, and it was my first time seeing Rick in a while, like since after COVID. Like pre-COVID, he was pretty good. Like I didn't mind him, but as I saw him at 23 in Rochester, he really was very childish. Like he was like very childish on the comms. And like he started playing very childish music as well. I'm like, what in the and then I'm like, I think I regret buying tickets for this show. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then next thing you know, once he finally passes the mic to Simmer at the Thunderbirds, I'm like, freaking finally. Finally, that guy can shut up.
Yeah, but hey, we all love a little Rick humor once in a while. Rick, if you're watching this, no hate. We love you so much.
Just maybe get a little more mature, buddy. Thank you.
And Evan, would you? And actually, back to Rob Ryder, I actually got a shout out from him in 2023 at Miramar along with Matt Jolly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you are. Hello, Braden.
Yep. The
It was on the
exact
news this
words.
morning.
That's awesome. How did
Yeah.
that happen?
I saw Matt Jolly and I kind of yelled over to him, Matt, and he's like, "Hey, Braden, nice to meet you," and blah blah blah. And he turns around to me later, Braden. He's like, "Who are you with?" I'm like, "I'm with my mom, my dad, and my aunt, and my one cousin." And he goes on the mic and he tells everybody about me being on the news and stuff like that too. So,
Did he give you the
Awesome.
mic at all?
unfortunately, no, I didn't want to like be the botherer. So I just respected my place and did my thing. So
Yeah, same
awesome.
here. Like, I'm just pretty chill. Do whatever you want to do. Like, I'm just pretty chill about it.
Awesome. So, anybody else have
If
questions for
you
Evan
guys
here?
have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was like this homecoming project for you? Was it like a whole year in the making for yourself, or was it just like a random like, okay, I guess we're going kind of thing?
What, going to homecoming?
Yeah, homecoming this year.
I was this close to going in 23, but it just didn't come together. Um, and then I had built up enough. In 23, it was still too early. Like I didn't really know enough people in the community. But this year going, like I knew there was a certain like critical mass of people that I wanted to meet that I hadn't yet met. Like I wanted to meet Scott Goosen's Jamami, who I had interviewed.
Nice.
I'd interviewed him on like this over the internet, and I wanted to meet him in person. And he lives in Pensacola, and there were a couple other people like that I wanted to go see in person and meet and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a good. I also wanted to do. I had it in my head early in the year though that I wanted to do. I did a comparison video of their first show versus their last show.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then you got Flex and Thomas on, right?
yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to have the side by side because I had never seen that done before, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So I have to go to the last show then. So
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. Somebody just asked, what was it like interviewing Captain Armitage?
oh, I mean, talk about a great guy. Like I was like I couldn't believe how nice he was and how just gracious he was, and we I got hooked up with him through Scott Jamami, and yeah, just got put in touch with him, and I wanted to do. It's kind of a unique time to interview someone. I feel like because usually interviews with Blue Angels are done when they're on the team, and the questions are rushed because they have no time and they've got a million things in their head, and it's hard for them to give full, meaningful, deep answers because there's a lot going on. Or it's been years and years and years and years later, and they're reflecting on it, like waxing poetic about the good old days, you know. But this was like an opportunity to get him like a month or two after he was done, so it was still like super fresh in his mind. But he was not on the team and having all that like the crazy pressure of being on the team. So we had a really great conversation. He was just incredible to talk to. He was the one actually who recommended the San Diego Air and Space Museum, which they were gracious enough to let us come in and film in front of their Blue Angel that they have on display there. And
Is
yeah,
it like the whole aircraft, or is it just like the fuselage?
I would assume it's just the fuselage. I don't. I would assume they took
Ah,
anything useful out of it.
uh, I didn't know if it was like the whole aircraft, or they took the wings off and then they just have the fuselage there. Or...
No, the wings are there, but they are folded up in the carrier. You
Oh,
know,
that's
parking.
sick.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
are in the carrier
yeah.
position at San Diego. I
That's
did watch that
awesome.
interview, and it was really great.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of good feedback on that one, and I think that's, you know, a testament to what I was just talking about. Like he's very plugged in still, but also has had time to breathe, and also he's just a great person. And I think that really comes through. Like it just I feel like it captured what he's like. Because oftentimes, you know, you see these guys as they're wearing the blue suit. They've got the sort of gravitas because they have the blue suit, but they're really just people at the end of the day, and they're very humble people. And yeah, it was great to talk to him.
Yeah.
100%, and I do thank you for that too. So letting us get in detail to his life. So
Here, confession. I listened to that interview while taking a Spanish test.
Okay, well, okay. Maybe you should be focusing on your Spanish test, but
I'm
I do
joking.
appreciate you listening to
Yeah. Yeah, basically it was just online, so usually they don't give a crap about what you listen to as long as you get like a good score. I ended up getting 100% on it anyway, so.
attaboy.
it. Oh, I should have had Boss Armatas speak in Spanish so that you could do the translation.
Nice.
Oh, I'm clipping that. I'm clipping that.
Oh yeah. Have you ever been to the Jones Beach show?
I have not. No. It's possible I went as a kid, but I don't remember. Like you, I went to so many as a kid that I just like they all blur together. So it's possible I went as a kid and I just don't remember it. I don't know how long they've been doing it for.
Yeah. Awesome. And everybody, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank
Oh
you so
yeah.
much, Evan, for
Thank
coming on and chatting with
you
us.
very much.
Of course,
Very
yeah.
much
Thank you so much for having
appreciated.
me.
Oh
Oh, our
yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Our
glad to be
pleasure.
here, as
Oh
they
yeah.
say.
Glad to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Can't wait to
Amen to
see
that.
you at El
Yeah.
Centro and
El
Miramar,
Centro, yeah,
hopefully.
just about a month away. So yeah.